Hello, everybody. I got my dog's ball. You can't see it because it's green here. It looks kind of weird me having my hand up there, but that's strange, isn't it? Anyway, my dog's sitting here bringing me her ball to play with her. Um, they always do this, when we first get in here, is I have to throw the ball at her a couple of times. She brings it back to me. Listen, I'm busy, okay, sweetie? Um, but we had a great day today. We had doctor's appointments and we got that taken care of, and we're all had a clean bill of health from our dermatologist. So, very interesting day for me because I'd never been to a dermatologist before, and we had the full body scan.
Don't get me started, y'all.
Don't get me started. What that I had to do today, but it was. Needless to say, it was a little embarrassing, but anyway.
Don't get him started.
Or don't get me started what I had to do today. It was something. All righty. Well, I couldn't make up my mind what I wanted to do it on today. I started to do it on a circus performer that came up missing, and then I realized that was a couple of years ago. So, and in the meantime, I had a lot of others that I ran across from over in Singapore, some missing people, Singapore, and in the United States also. So wanted to be able to cover just about anything in the world. Listen, Maggie, I'm going to give this to you one more time, and I want you to lay down, okay? Now, go. It's in, there it went. Go get it. Okay. I hope everybody's doing good. Medina is not on here right now. Where are you at, Medina?
I'm not going to come on today.
Uh-oh. We lost some lights here. Light went out.
Why did it go out?
Hold on a minute.
Gracie, yeah.
Nah.
Gracie
Maybe Gracie stepped on it. I used to honestly think, sometime the TV station go out at night, my dad said somebody tripped over a cord. And I used to think that it was all like plugged into the wall, and anytime it would go out, that somebody tripped over just a electrical cord. Okay, maybe the dogs here. They've been playing and everything ever since we got home, so I don't know what the big deal is. They want you on here, Dana. All right, we won't cover a few other people today. This is a missing South Carolina woman, has a medical condition which puts her life at risk. 39 years old, Angela Rose DeBerry. And I was going to do just one particular case tonight and go into all the different assets. But as I got to looking tonight over a bunch of people that are missing, I really felt bad about not covering.
Hey.
Whoa.
Hey.
Not covering everything that we needed to cover on the different people. I apologize for that. Maggie,
Gracie
inside
Gracie
voice.
had her ball.
Oh, okay. Well, still inside voice. She had a medical condition that could put her life at risk. Officers say 39-year-old. Last thing leaving her house on Tuesday, and I don't have the date here. Hopefully, in my next page will tell the date. Officers did not say if the medical condition was, but untreated. But said it is untreated, it could lead to risk of her health. And it doesn't say where. It's Florence PD, which I'm not sure if that, I think that is City of Florence. I think that is in Alabama, if it is Florence in Alabama. 5 foot tall, 165 pounds, wearing dark pants, dark t-shirt, beige slippers, wrapped in a red blanket with white trim. So that is strange itself. Also, we want to report some great news here that Oklahoma governor signs a bill aimed at helping solve cases of missing and murdered Indigenous Persons Act.
Praise the Lord.
And that's Oklahoma, which Oklahoma, that's 18 hours ago. Oklahoma has a very large indigenous population, with reservations out there. That's the Plains states where I know that they had a lot of different tribes out there that had the horse plainsmen. I know that I think the horse planes when they wasn't Pawnee, but I think they were in the wasn't Cheyenne. I think they were Sioux. Yeah, they were Sioux. They were considered the horse. They did a lot of stuff with horses. That's all I know. I'm sorry. I just know the Sioux population were considered the horsemen of the plains, of the Indian plains, the Sioux, and fairly peaceful people. This was a police appeal for information on a 16-year-old boy missing since April the 8th in Singapore. The police are appealing for information on the whereabouts of a 16-year-old boy been missing since April the 8th. And that would be, I guess, this month. Mohammed Hazan Shalom. That's pretty good for me. Salem, maybe. And it tells what road. I'm not going to even try to do that. Address there from it was a children's home, actually, that he disappeared from. So this was in Singapore. Police are requesting any information. Call the hotline there at 1-800-255-0000. Submit information there. Policegov.sg eyewitness. Strictly confidential. Keep information strictly confidential. We don't think about that, but other places, they don't have the runaway population like the United States does. One reason is I think the police over there handle a lot of that stuff in a totally different way. What are you shaking your head no for?
They have as many as we do. And in fact,
I disagree.
In Brazil, what do you know? You ain't been overseas.
No, but I've looked a lot of that stuff up.
Brazil has what they call the killing goons, which go out at night and murder the homeless children.
Yeah, but this is Singapore. It's not Brazil.
Singapore has a serious problem with children being kidnapped for sexual
but
reasons.
I don't think the runaway population is as strong as the United States. Police appeal for information on a missing in Singapore also, and a missing 16-year-old girl. Juan Lee, don't know, Xuan. Somebody tell me how to pronounce that. Singapore Police Force, SPF, appealing for information. Whereabouts, 16-year-old girl has been missing since April the 16th, which would be, what is that today? Last Friday.
Almost a week.
Last seen there at 8 o'clock on Friday night. Goes on to say she's seen wearing a black mask, black cape, black jacket, and black trousers, black shoes. Okay. Carrying a gray backpack. That, I don't know. I don't have enough to say about that. 16-year-old Chinese girl missing from Singapore, 1,800 hours, be 6 o'clock at night. And it tells there, and they tell the police call 999. That must be a special line for to report anything to the police.
Isn't she beautiful?
She's a pretty girl. We're going a lot faster than I wanted to go tonight, and I'm going to end up being not. That's always happens when I do a lot of people. I tend to be
too quick.
Going over stuff. And okay, ask a question. Anybody get any questions to ask about anything?
Go back to the first one.
Go back. No, I'm not going back to the first one. Just anybody got any questions about anything?
Give me something to throw at him.
Oh gosh, that's assault. Assault.
I got some pepper to throw too.
No. Don't make me go into what happened to me today, my embarrassing encounter with the dermatologist doctors. I will go into it, but I don't want to go into it right now. Any questions about anything that we talked about so far, and then we'll go to questions about anything.
The boy from Singapore that's missing. I want to know about him, so bring him back up. from the orphanage.
It's not the orphanage.
Child protection, whatever he's in.
Right here. 16-year-old boy missing since, and I can't pronounce his name. It's Muhammad's his first name, is all I know. From the Pertaps Children's Home.
Which that means an orphanage.
Right.
He was in an orphanage.
You're correct. You are correct.
Okay, so in Singapore, at what age did they kick him out? You don't know.
That I do not know. Why don't you look that up? That'd be great if you would take the time to look that up.
Ooh, Tia says it said she was dressed in all black. Could she have wanted to disappear?
Or could she have been like the goth?
She looked
goth, you know, the goth movement here in the United States. The goth, they're still dressed like that. I see them back before COVID, when we used to actually go to the mall. I would see them all the time. Black hair, black fingernails. It's been a while since all this COVID stuff, but about a year.
Now they don't have black hair. Now they have pink hair.
Well, it's still the goth. It's the goth type thing.
Y'all, he's killing me today.
Ringling Brothers performer, and this is the one that I thought that I wanted to do, but then I got to reading. This is in 2015, and there's no indication that she was ever returned to the circus. Here's the deal. She was an acrobat at the circus there with Ringling Brothers, and they traveled all over the United States. Very pretty girl. This was a picture of their group when they do these things, and they're last seen by her boyfriend in the circus there. And here's what you got to wonder. She's Chinese, okay? Did she flee to go, to remain in America, to seek asylum, because all they'd have to do is seek asylum in America, or try to go into the culture, or maybe her boyfriend convinced her to. I don't know if the thing, her boyfriend might have been associated with the Chinese government, call her boyfriend, whatever. They first said the next day, reported I think it's February 27th, 2015, yes. Okay. And that the next day they reported her she was back. Everything was fine. But through an investigation, Atlanta PD found out that was not the case. She never returned. So we don't know if she ever got back.
They were saving face.
Yes.
What they were doing is they were saying she's back. They probably told those other girls, we got her back. We're sending her back to China. Right. You know what's going to happen to her. But maybe she did escape.
Yeah, but then you got to worry about what happened to her family. A Chinese circus performer is still missing despite conflict reports from the circus that she had been found, Georgia police said Saturday. Wei Koi, I guess that is, 25 years old, reported missing Monday. She failed to show up for a show with Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey performance in Atlanta. She had been seen earlier that day.
Wait a minute. Okay, wait a minute. So this just happened.
No, this is 2015.
2015. Okay, so who reported her missing? They
first reported, the circus actually first reported her missing.
That's surprising right there.
Well, the circus is not in China, from China. The actual circus is in the United States, owned by a company in the United States.
I'm surprised the Chinese notified the circus that she was missing.
Maybe not. Maybe this came from someone else within it. Field Entertainment, the circus production company, here it is, said Chinese citizen had been located on Friday. So they said she'd been located, but as far as we're concerned, she's still missing. That's what the Sergeant Lyons said of the Georgia Police Department, which they wouldn't say that unless they had information on that. Okay?
I've watched too many spy movies.
Yeah. The circus received information that led them to believe she's okay, but they're still looking into the matter to make sure she's okay.
Okay,
And
well,
line declined the detail that the circus was told, citing ongoing investigation. Yes.
okay. So my question is, that was not their last stop, I would imagine.
No, because they were in, I read where they went to Vegas shortly after this.
And was
And
she there?
no,
No pictures?
that, well, you know, if you look at this,
You can't tell.
you can't, can you tell? I mean, I can't tell which one she is, nor, you know, I can't tell which one she is. And you know yourself, I mean, our daughter looks like she is still 16 years old in the face. So if you put her, we could tell the difference in our daughter, but law enforcement could not tell. I know that I couldn't. I mean, my little ordeal I went through today had a Chinese doctor that sat in, female that sat in on my examination, and I couldn't probably pick her out of a lineup right now if I had to.
T.S. Jackson says, are they sure she did not return to China? I wouldn't say she returned voluntarily.
No, well, here's the thing. You can't just turn around and return to China. You know, they, and I would bet money on this, that they probably take their passports and hold them for safekeeping while they're in the United States, so they cannot go to another country or go into Canada or something and flee like that. That is a type of control that people that are trafficking or using them for workforces will do. Now, it's really against American law for you to take their passport because it shows a way for them to control you through like human trafficking, but for their safekeeping, you know, because crime in the United States, and they probably went over there with a group, then I would say that's it. I wonder if you can hear our dog snoring on the floor. Maggie's finally give it up. No, not me. Let me see where I was. Right here. He noted that the company has been very cooperative in our investigation. Well, Field Entertainment is referring to all the media inquiries to the police department until they complete their investigation. Field Entertainment is an American company, so they're going to be that way. But the Chinese government, or whoever the Chinese representative, is probably not. She's an acrobat, was scheduled to head to New City with a circus on Saturday, which I know they did end up in Las Vegas. So they're playing these large things. And if I don't know if any of y'all have ever been, we used to go to a show at one of the casinos in Gulfport, not Gulfport, but Biloxi. They would have the shows over there of Chinese acrobats, Blue Man, a bunch of these things at these casinos. And they would have, I mean, top-notch performances. Some of the things that we've seen over there, just amazing. And they're fairly inexpensive because they're trying to get you in the casino to gamble, but you can go over there and just watch the show and eat and go home. But they do that in Gulfport, Biloxi, and the Mississippi coast. And I think probably Hidden Beach Bum lived down on the Mississippi coast. She could tell us probably about that too, because they got some amazing shows down there. Any questions? Anybody got any ideas about this one? It's kind of, I know it's kind of about, 6 years ago, but I tried to find anything, anywhere that any investigation said that she'd absolutely been found. And of course, the Circus said she had, but the police department said, no, we don't find any evidence of that.
They haven't talked to her.
They haven't spoke to her one-on-one.
She may be in witness protection. She may have gotten away.
No, she don't put people in witness protection for fleeing to immigrate to the United States. She could go and ask for
asylum.
Yes,
Wouldn't they
but
put her in some kind of protection to
nope.
keep her away from the Chinese spies over
No,
here?
they don't put people in witness protection unless they are a federal witness in a case.
Maybe she knows.
They might put her. She could probably go with a Chinese American family that would maybe let her stay there until, But I just wonder about her family. I wanted to see too. Yeah, I was wanting to know Arwen Hardy, if wasn't it your husband that's in the hospital? How he's doing? When we were at the doctor's office, it was in Huntsville Hospital today, and I thought, man, they are very strict up there, and I thought about y'all. It's seeing everybody up there. I know my brain's not working today either after the
trauma.
Okay, you said no, I don't have a husband. Who was it that had the husband in the hospital?
Those are all caps.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. No, after the ordeal that I went through today, so my brain's a little fried.
I know somebody's husband's in the hospital.
Yes.
For whatever reason, I cannot remember.
One was 55 years old and for COVID. Who was that last night?
Hadel?
Hadel.
Something like that.
Okay. All right.
I prayed for him.
Yes, we did. We did pray for him.
No, I mean, when we were online, I prayed for him.
Okay. Where did I go? Here, I messed up here. Oh, I just don't have no energy tonight after my ordeal today.
Okay.
All right, and then we got this little girl here, 7 years old. This is recently. This was like I think, very recent. A Lincoln Park police states that Jessica Haley Rose Miller, 7 years old, was last seen in the area of 1674 Buckingham Avenue in Lincoln Park, Michigan, with her mother, Kimberly Michelle Miller, 38, approximately 2 weeks ago. And that was just like the last 2 weeks. The mother came in. Jessica was talking to her daddy. And you know what? This had another article with that, but I could not get it to open. So, I think it may be a parental abduction, what I gathered about what I could read. I can't believe I went through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people there in less than 24 minutes. It's not going to be a long show tonight. Does anybody have anything about anything? I'll answer any questions about anything that you're wondering about.
Well, now you don't know everything.
Anything that I can't answer, I will. I thought you wanted all caps to see the message. No disrespect. I do want all caps to see the message.
No, we were kidding.
I do want all caps to see the message.
He needed to see that, Aaron.
Because I cannot see that without the all caps. Yes. I was just kidding. I was playing after the ordeal I went through today.
That's funny. I'm sorry. I shouldn't say that.
Somebody asked me about the ordeal. I'll tell you about it, but I'm not going to go there because Dina will say, I don't want you to go there.
Do I talk like that?
Huh?
Do I talk like that?
You talk like this. I don't want you to go there.
You are so bad. You are so bad.
No, I guess if any one of you ever been, say I hadn't ever been to a dermatologist today, never in my life, and I went for my first examination, if you know what I mean, and that's why I'm. Tell us about your ordeal. Okay, I'll be glad to.
Oh my God. I don't know who asked that. Y'all asked for it.
I went in, and of course, this young nurse, very young, I'd say 30 years old, nurse's aide nurse, comes in. She said, you need to disrobe down to your underwear and sit in this chair right here. We can give you something to kind of halfway cover up, but you're going to have to take it off. I said, okay. So I disrobed and sat. Oh, you're a nurse. You'll appreciate this. And then I disrobed and sat there in this chair in this room. It's fairly chilly, too. I want to tell you that. Nothing on but my underwear. And then these 3 women come in. The doctor, which is probably my age or a little younger, she looked about my age, and 2 other girls. That young nurse, she was a very sweet girl, took my information, and this Chinese nurse, or she's Oriental, Asian. All of them had masks on. And here I am sitting here. Now, listen, if I had the 6-pack and the muscle body, I could sit there, I sit there no problem at all. But I am an old guy that's overweight and embarrassed to sit there with these 3 young girls. And then I got to stand up and do my arms and let them check me between my toes and my back. And it was just embarrassing. And the places they check you in front of these women.
They checked inside both sets of cheeks.
And not in the facial portion, if you know what I mean. I was rather embarrassed. But the doctor turns around to me and pats me on the shoulder and says, "You're all clear. Congratulations. I'll see you in a year." So at least nothing was cancerous, no spots or anything. And I'm very surprised because that my wife has not had any type of skin cancer because, well, I'm fixing to tell you, because when we first met and when we started going out, I would go pick her up at the Redstone Arsenal where her dad was in the military. She would go out there to their pool. She would be lathered down with baby oil all over her and trying to get this super, super dark tan. So, that's just like magnifying glass to you. I mean, you can get burnt up.
We didn't know any better.
And, I've been burnt on my shoulders several times, real bad, in Florida.
Lori said, you really didn't have to go. You really didn't have to go. No one was making you go. It's a choice.
Yes, you're very true. But see.
No, I meant go there, I think.
Here's the thing. We are getting ready to go full-time in our RV in less than 30 days or less. So we went and got our blood work done to find out if we have anything that we need to address or health-wise. We went and got our eyes checked and got our new glasses. And then we wanted to have our body checked out and make sure we didn't have any skin cancer or anything like that. Because here of late, I've had a lot of my friends have had all kinds of stuff taken off of them, skin cancer on their face, on their back, on their top of their head, everything. So I was glad to have it done. I was worried because I had a couple of little things that I was concerned about, but she said it wasn't nothing. Go ahead.
They're laughing at you. Maddie said, Mr. T, I would have ran.
Well,
it's kind of hard to run without your clothes on.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to run without your clothes on. And I really, even though I was embarrassed about these 3 women looking at me like that and being in that situation, I just felt like, hey, I needed to get it done. So,
Okay, Lori just made a statement. I don't know why we didn't think about this. Lori said, actually, there's probably YouTube video that can tell you how you two can check each other.
Yeah, well,
I would have thought about that.
Well, the doctor even said y'all need to check each other during the time you're out in the sun. Yes, but see, I have, and I'll show you maybe here. You see that thing right there on my shoulder?
Oh, look, T.S. Jackson says, that's it. I'm never going to a dermatologist.
No, don't let it.
do that.
If you can go to a female dermatologist and you're with a female, that's fine. We just happen to go to a female dermatologist,
Which is fine for me.
I could have went to a male dermatologist and I wouldn't have been all freaked out unless she'd had his nurse in there, which I have been in a situation like with a urologist where a nurse has came in. So yeah, I got a real issue with that. But I have one thing right here, and you can't see that, but it's been there like 10 years. So I keep an eye on it just in case it starts to do anything funky there on the sides. But
I saw it dance one night.
I think honestly, everybody needs to go to a dermatologist to be checked out because you get skin cancer and you get something like melanoma, and that's some serious business. It gets into your cells and it actually can kill you.
Oh gosh. Lake Superior said I had a cute 30-plus-year-old guy who is friends with my daughter had to do an EKG on me.
Ugh.
Hey, well, let me tell you something that happened to me. I was 19 years old, and I was having trouble because they knew I was bleeding internally, but they couldn't figure out where it was coming from. And so they sent me to the base doctor, and he ordered a upper and lower GI series test, which I had no idea what that was. And a young man came in that was probably my age to insert the tube in the end that it shouldn't go in. And you talk about embarrassing. I laid there to cry.
What about the time you had the one of your surgery and you had that little bunny, a tan bunny? She had put she was big. I mean, I'm telling you what, the girl used to get black tan almost. I mean, real dark.
I did not do I only did twice the sun tanning boots.
Yeah, but what was it? You had the little bunny.
I was trying to see how dark I was getting, so I had a bunny rabbit there, and
a bunny rabbit on her waist right there, and then when she had lower than the waist, where she had to go in for. We were married, and she had to go in for. I think this is when you're having your hysterectomy, right? But when they did it, the doctor cracked up laughing.
When he came in there afterwards, he said everything went fine, but I want to tell you. You should have warned me about the bunny rabbit. I almost cut his ears off.
Because she had got her tan and she had put that to,
Aaron says.
Yeah, melanoma is one of the most deadliest forms of skin cancer. Yes, and that's what I was concerned about is maybe something slipping up and me being discovered with that. That's why we went and had these, the dermatologist look us over. And
she didn't find anything that she didn't like on either one of them.
No, that's pretty good. I was very, very pleased with this. Very pleased.
We did a high five in the hall.
Yeah, we did. We did a high five in the hall.
Aren't y'all glad you get to hang out with two old people that talk about their health?
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
I had a cute 30-year-old guy. Yeah. Today was just interesting. That's all I'm gonna say. It was just interesting. That's all I'm gonna say. Late Superior girl, did you say you are a nurse? And what type of nurse are you?
She's
like a RN? RN or LPN or what is?
She's the kind that.
Or I mean, all nurses help people.
Maddie,
used to use a cross.
You used to
That's
use
good
a cross,
for tan thing. Yeah. Okay. See.
I was thinking vampires were around or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that would be better, Maddie. That would be better than a bunny. That would be much better than a bunny.
Are you trying to make me feel bad? Because it ain't working. Lori is an RN as well. So
wow.
You got all kinds of nurses on here.
Yeah, well, my dad had skin cancer on his nose, but you couldn't tell him about it. He was getting in his late 80s, and if you would have told him, he probably would have.
Wow.
been bad.
She no more. I'm sorry to hear that. She had a cousin, Gary, died a few years ago from melanoma, too young, in his mid-30s.
Wow.
He never wore sunscreen and traveled to hot regions often.
You know, when I was working mostly at the beach on when I worked in law enforcement on a beachfront community, and or I would go out fishing, I hardly ever wore sunscreen, hardly ever. But I always wore a hat. I tried to at least wear a hat. And they tell you also to be sure you put that real heavy sunscreen on your nose and on your face. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna buy me a hat. I wear a cowboy hat sometimes, but if we're out doing something, but if we're going to do hiking stuff, especially in Arizona and all these places, I'm going to buy me a nice hat, something I can wear. But I got a big head too, so I'm going to have to get something.
Wow, Sketty. I think I would find me another dermatologist, because that is nowhere near what he should have done. That's crazy.
Well, now I'm going to tell you this, though. I actually was an hour for me to get in to see the dermatologist. I was there an hour in the waiting room. You went in almost right away.
No, but
they left
he
me.
Listen, he looked at her forehead, her shoulders, and left.
Wow.
That's ridiculous. Listen, this lady, she took my toes and separated them and looked in them.
Yeah,
she went through my hair like you would not believe. Mine
too. Mine went through the hair, went through my feet, my legs, my feet, my rear portion of my body, some of the frontal area of my body, took my mask off, looked at my face, put the little light on up here, found some things around my back, said, no, it's nothing to worry about. You know, everything looks good. But examined me probably 30 minutes, 35 minutes maybe. So I was very thoroughly examined. Yeah.
Get a good one, so you only have to go once a year. I will tell y'all, my doctor, I have the butterfly effect sometimes with my breathing and all, where it feels like your heart's palpitating, which it is. You're having heart palpitations, but I didn't know what it was. This was probably about 10 years ago. And so my doctor didn't like the idea of that, so she sent me to a heart doctor. It's probably been 20 years ago. And the doctor's nurse came in, got all my information, and he comes in, he said, I saw you coming down the office hall, and I thought, what is she doing in here? There ain't nothing wrong with her. And he made me feel so strange about being in there at my age for a heart checkup or whatever, that when he left the room, he said, I'm going to get you some tests. He left the room. I left the room and went the other way. And I went back and told my doctor, nope, not going back to him.
Yeah. And then,
y'all, if it doesn't feel right, it's not.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that most of the girls are on here tonight, but let me tell you, when I went to have my hysterectomy, the insurance required a second opinion. My doctor sent me to another gynecologist, and when I left his office, I was in tears and crying because I felt violated. He kept patting me on my inner thigh and reaching and grabbing my necklace that I had on that was near my breast. And he'd already examined me, but he just kept telling me what a pretty woman I was, and he kept picking at my necklace, and he made me so uncomfortable. And because of things in my past, I didn't kick him or slap him like I should have. But when I got home, I took a shower, and I called my doctor, and I said, don't ever send somebody to him again. That was the worst doctor's appointment I'd ever been.
All right. Any questions about any missing people that we've actually talked about? And last, I did want to discuss something. There's been a lot in the news about the girl that disappeared in San Francisco over there near the Golden Gate Bridge. I want to say her last name was West, maybe. Let me see if I can find it. I think I copied her picture, but for some reason I did not download it. to talk to y'all about it. But there's been a lot of, she's been in the news, I mean, not really anything new, but just the fact that there's been a real effort by her parents and the police to do everything they can to try to generate some new leads on her.
Yes, we haven't heard anything about Echo.
No, and I did. Yeah, here she is. Let me download this real quick. No, and I did actually talk. I haven't even talked to Melinda in the last week or two. I don't know if she's doing okay or not either. She was, went through a pretty good rough time with their whole family being sick. She has more information than anybody else about Echo. This is, whoops. Okay, Sydney West, missing from San Francisco, September 30th, 2020 at 6:45 a.m. in the area of Crissy Field near Golden Gate Bridge. She's a very beautiful girl. There were some, let me stop this rolling banner here. Said last spoke with the family on September 29, 2020. She is from Chapel Hill. She was in college. The only thing, and I kind of think that, I hope not, I really hope not, she had a problem with depression, they said, and maybe stress from school, whatever. And, if you say she's got a problem with depression and it was around the Golden Gate Bridge area, they automatically assume, a lot of police agencies will automatically assume that she hurt herself, which I don't think that, I mean, her parents have come out and said they don't believe that was the case, that she was a little stressed out from school and a little depressed from, I guess, being away from home and stuff, that it may have caused her to be depressed. But that's not, just because you're depressed doesn't mean you're depressed enough to kill yourself. That is just not the case. And, I'm still just flabbergasted over the last one we looked into, the Corey case, because, if I just want to know, do they have video of her jumping off the bridge and not being thrown off the bridge? It just doesn't make any sense to me. A 19-year-old pretty girl that has everything in the world going for her, boyfriend and college, starting as a freshman at LSU and teaching dance to neighborhood kids and being just, getting an argument with your boyfriend and then jump off the bridge. It just flabbergasts me. Unless, you've seen people that get absolutely mad and they do something. This is where a lot of domestic killings happen, where they get mad at their wife over something and just in a rage, they grab a gun, boom, they kill them, or they hit them hard, and they hurt them or whatever, because they're in a rage. You hardly ever see somebody they're already depressed, they get mad at somebody and they go and jump off a bridge. Even if they're depressed, and it's usually when they go to jump off a bridge, they go and they stand there on the side of the bridge and they talk themselves into it, or they hardly ever just go out there and boom, right over the side. So I want to, I need to know a little bit more about that. If I was doing it, if I was looking at it. Anybody else have anything? We don't have many people in here tonight. 59. You're typing. Any questions about anything we covered here, or that we have covered, or anything you want to know about, or any questions about our upcoming change in our life, moving into the RV, traveling? Where somebody asked us the other day where we're going first. we're actually taking a bunch of stuff that belongs to my daughter to her house near Milwaukee, and also a bunch of my stuff that I don't want to throw away. Like I have about 50 in-car and body-worn tapes.
Cheat No More said, Thomas, my best male friend, drove from LA to the Golden Gate Bridge and jumped. It was totally shocking.
I mean, do they know if he just went out there, went straight off? I mean, I don't know. The people I've seen that have wanted to hurt themselves, it wasn't all of the sudden, even if they planned it. They got to the point of either jumping off a building or jumping off a bridge or taking something or ending their life with a gun. It's not all of the sudden, it's more so of they work towards that. I don't know. I wonder why the Golden Gate Bridge, if that would be my question, is why there? Because of course that's instant death at that height, but there's a lot of other places if somebody wanted to jump off a bridge that they could do it before they got to the Golden Gate Bridge. A whole lot of places. There's all kinds of places out in Arizona and Colorado, and even buildings. We've had several people jump off top of condos and kill themselves. And there was one case I remember down towards the Gulf Coast. A girl went down and rented a top story, 29, 30 floors up, a condo, went out and laid their stuff on suitcase on the bed, then went out to the balcony and jumped. But we don't know how long she stayed out on the balcony. Think about Corey Goddard jumping off the bridge. Is that what is the water really cold, and did she know how to swim? Well, Corey was, and that's Kori. I mean, not to correct you, but that's what the spelling of it is. The water is around 45 degrees. Somebody said the other day it was cold, but at that height, it would be like hitting concrete. And if they did live, the swift as the Mississippi is, probably would drown. Yes.
Sam said, did anyone hear that human remains were found perhaps in connection with the Linda Stoltzfus case?
I haven't heard in connection. I know that in Mobile, human remains were found today in Mobile, and a lot of people are wondering if it's Brittany Woods, associated with the Brittany Woods disappearance down there, involving that whole family of inbred, and there's no other way to say it. They are the whole family's been convicted of incest and all kinds of other stuff. And she had reported to be thought to be going to confess to police or tell the police about some stuff. And when she was at her uncle's and disappeared and never has been seen again,
and her uncle killed himself.
3 days later, her uncle killed himself. So they're thinking that maybe this remains today. A bunch of people online were saying they're wondering if the remains was her.
Rhonda's best friend did suicide by train.
Oh, that is bad. I've seen somebody hit by a train before, and it's not pretty.
Cheat No More said he was addicted to meth and his life was totally spiraling.
Who was?
Cheat No More, her friend that jumped off the bridge.
Yeah. Well, especially if they don't see any way out of anything,
Sam said, as you know, Linda went missing in Pennsylvania, but I don't know exactly where these remains were discovered. I only know that they are connected to Linda.
No. Well, the one thing is we can see people that have been missing for a really long time, and we can always hope and pray that they'd be found somewhere safe, even if they're in captivity with somebody. At least that can hopefully be deprogrammed and whatever.
Okay.
However, maybe it'd bring closure to somebody.
Lori said, Thomas, the thing about Corey jumping off the bridge is that what is the water really cold, and did she know how to swim? I don't think
it doesn't matter. I mean, at that height, the bridge is so high that they said that if she did live, which majority of people that fall from that high, it's like hitting concrete and it'd kill you. But just the jump's going to kill you, no matter if you drown or anything. The Mississippi was high off its banks. The water was very, very rough streams. They got eddies. They got these like things that suck you down in the water. It didn't matter if she could swim or not. I doubt she'd ever live to get herself out of there.
Like Spirit said, when you're depressed, you don't think past that present moment, and that is true.
Listen, I have been there, okay? I have been depressed, but I've never been to the point of planning to kill myself, okay? I have been depressed, but it just takes a different level, I think, of that. Now, I know somebody that has attempted multiple times to kill themselves, but they're saying they need to just end the pain. I don't know.
Dorothy says, I think along those lines, I want to know if the driver's seat was pushed back. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard somebody. Well, I heard somebody that said, they don't know because the record driver might have pushed the seat back when he was getting in there to put the thing in neutral to winch it up on a flatbed. Most of them are flatbeds right now. Yeah, that I agree, Maui. I did hear the sheriff or whoever said that they do have video evidence that it was suicide. I'd like to know what that is.
Hey,
what?
They said there have been a couple of people who survived the Golden Gate. One man now works with suicide prevention.
Yeah, I've read that too. But also you remember there's been people jump out of airplanes, parachute doesn't open, and they've hit the ground and lived. So
that
it's
one
just.
Woman was 6 weeks pregnant. Remember, she hit and broke every bone in her face.
And I have seen some people fall off a condo 4 stories and hit the sand and kill herself. I want, and some of your nurses might know this. If you take a fall, if paramedics get a call and their fall is over 10 feet in the air, they consider that a trauma. And they will fly you on a helicopter to a trauma center, 10 feet. You can actually kill yourself on a 10-foot drop.
You can kill yourself falling off a ladder.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Step ladder. Remember that guy that died? A friend of ours, dad died falling off a step ladder.
Hmm.
Be quiet. He's reading y'all's message.
I'm reading.
You can fall down. You can fall down 2 steps and die. Cheat no more said.
Yeah, and Maui, I understand the no note. It always makes everybody wonder. And in fact, I remember a suicide that we had while I was in law enforcement, and that it was a girl, lady that owned a restaurant, and I mean she was plenty of money. Of course, that doesn't matter, depression or whatever. She went and got herself all make it up, put her makeup on and everything, locked the door to her house, and then shot herself in the chest. And that is, every one of us said, that's something, because usually a woman, doesn't commit suicide with a gun. That's a man thing. And they don't do anything that's going to damage the body, like how the body looks. And so that was a big thing to me. Usually it's by pills, some other form, hang themselves. They do hang
Cut
themselves,
their wrist.
cut their wrist. Mostly they overdose themselves. They don't want to. They don't want to cause any blemishes on the body for whatever reason. And I remember when I was working down there. I was in narcotics at the time, but we would go eat at a restaurant with a bunch of guys in uniform. There'd be about 5 or 6 of us, and we would go eat at this one restaurant. And they had this young waitress in there, and we would always cut up and kid with her. And she was, I think, 16, and she was a very pretty girl, and we'd cut up with her all the time. And we came in there, and she wasn't there that day. And I said, "Hey, where is what's her name, Jasmine or something like that?" And they said, "Oh, you didn't hear?" And I said, "Hear what?" And said, "She killed herself last night." And she hung herself. And the way she did it, she put a thing around a ceiling fan, put it around her neck, turned the ceiling fan on, and it just wrapped the cord up and killed her.
Not pull it out of the ceiling?
I think it ended up dead, but it was just, it caught her up. The rope was so tight around her neck, even if she wanted to, she couldn't get it off. But, it was just such a shock because every day we were in there, she was always cutting up, smiling, happy, but you cannot judge a person's feelings and what they're going through by what they portray on their face, because they can be very depressed, they can have anxiety and all kinds of other stuff and still look like they're fine.
And you know what? Here again is coming back around to our conversation that we had today. You don't know what goes on behind closed doors. You may think that that's the perfect family. They don't have anything going on. There's nothing wrong. And those kids
My ears still bothering me.
And the kids are great and all. But then one of them, something happens. One of them commits suicide, or they end up getting divorced or whatever. You do not know.
Okay. I just know the people that I grew up with did not have those bigger problems because we talked about everything.
No.
Guys talk about everything.
Y'all, listen, this is what I try to tell my husband. You don't, just because you think your friend tells you everything doesn't mean that they tell you everything, because they're embarrassed to tell you something.
A lot of guys will tell just about anything to each other.
I totally disagree.
Well, you're not a guy, so you don't know.
I grew up with 6 brothers, and I can tell
but it's not the same as being a guy.
Telling you girls and guys,
it's not the same as being a guy.
Tommy, you don't know what went on in those guys' families behind closed doors. Only the family knows. You don't know.
Yeah, I know that, but I knew what my friends did because we talked about it.
He believes that his friends told him all the good, the bad, and the ugly of their families. And we know that that's not true. They would not want you to accidentally slip and say something in front of their parents, or that you or their brother.
I never talked to their parents.
Okay.
I always talk to them. Guys tend to tell each other everything.
Right, Steady. No young boy is going to tell about sexual.
No, but I knew just about what I knew just about everything that my guy friends were into and what their parents did.
You knew what they wanted you to know.
Okay.
Oh, I'm looking for something else to throw. I'm telling you, you only know what people are willing to share with you.
Maybe later in life, but as when kids, I knew just about everything. I'm just saying just about. I stayed at their house as much as they stayed at mine. I knew what kind of dad they did and everything.
Guys don't like to show their weaknesses to anyone. We're not, Annie, we're not fussing.
We're not fussing. This is the way we discuss everything.
We aren't fussing. Trust me. We love each other, and I love to cut up with him. And
if I could not disagree with my wife, I wouldn't be married to her. We disagree, and we disagree, that's the way it is.
Anna said, my husband said that guys don't talk deep things. That's the truth. See, that's what I'm saying. You and your buddies may have talked
Well, I mean,
football and everything.
adults don't. Adult guys don't. But guys growing up,
You think as a teenager, as a guy teenager, do you think if you had a guy teenage friend that had been sexually assaulted, he's going to share that with you? You are crazy if you think that. Because the first thing that he's going to think is they're going to think it's my fault. They're going to think I'm gay, or they're going to think this or that. No, they're not going to tell you.
I'm not really talking about driving age. I'm talking about when I was like 12.
Do you really think a 12-year-old boy's going to tell you that he's been sexually molested? No.
I don't know. I don't want to talk about this no more.
Oh, this is a healthy disagreement because this is something that families need to, you know, that's why we told our children there is nothing you can tell me or say to me that would ever make me stop loving you. Nothing. So if there is something that happens to you, don't think I'm going to be mad at you. Please talk to me.
And I'll tell you, since I've gotten older, I don't care if you're gay, you're straight, you're bi. I don't care any of that stuff. I don't care if you marry interracial. I don't care if you are interracial. I don't care any about that stuff. None of that stuff. I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to judge my kids that way. I'm not going to judge anything. You know, here's what we had too, because we were raised in the South, and when I was growing up, and my father was not a racist, and but they, you know, interracial marriage was not really a big thing back then. I mean, they looked at it kind of strange. My father was not a racist, but then we adopt a daughter from Korea, and I forget that she is not the same race as me. You know, I tend to tell her all the time, I'm whiter than you. I mean, I'm darker than you are. Or we were talking this past weekend, and I was talking about being white and blacks and this and that. And she said, well, I'm not white. I said, you're white. She said, Dad, I'm Korean. I'm not white. And, you know, it's just, they consider olive skin. But I don't see race in that. I mean, she's my daughter. I think.
I don't say race in people. I say people. And I love people.
But I tend to judge people on their character, not their color of their skin. And, you know, if you act like an idiot, I'll treat you like an idiot. That's just the way it is. That's the way I did in law enforcement. If you act like you're a human being and you act civilized, I'll treat you that way. You act like an idiot, I'll treat you like an idiot. It's just the way it is. And I get so aggravated, and I'll get on my high horse one time here when
I'm fixing to knock you off that high horse.
Yeah, when the vice president yesterday says that we are racist, basically systemic racism in police. The police force basically is racist, which that is just not true. Not with any of the people that I ever worked with. You know, I told somebody once, I personally have never arrested anybody because of their color, their sex, gay, straight, whatever. I've never done anything like that. I've never ever seen anybody do that. I've never seen anybody get arrested because they're black or white or treated anything different. But you have to. Do you think I could? It's a good analogy. If I go into a neighborhood and I'm talking to someone that had a domestic or disturbance at a barbecue, say, and the houses are $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, doctors, lawyers, and stuff. You talk to them a certain way, and then if I get dispatched to the projects, that I can talk to them the same way I talk to the lawyers and the doctors, they're not going to understand that. Doesn't mean I'm going to be ugly to these people in the projects. I'm going to be more straight up with them. Look, you don't want to spend the night in jail, do you? Look, why don't you calm down? Why don't you go over here to your neighbor's house and y'all chill out a while and let this thing settle down? You know, try to get separated that. you think I might tell the lawyers and doctors, sir, why don't you just go home and maybe you can discuss this at the next barbecue. It's nothing to do with the race. It might be where you live. It's just like, if you come down to the South here, where I live, and you try to explain, if you're from Boston, it's just the simple Boston, my car's in the yard. They don't know what you're talking about. I had a girl from Boston once that was on the beach looking for spring break party. They wanted to go out and party. Said, "Where's the potty?" I said, "Well, we got a bathroom that's down." No, I want to see the potty. I had no idea what she was talking about. Party she was looking for. It's just it's an English language
what we
issue.
Were talking about, that's what I tried to tell Thomas is he had some very close friends, some very good friends, but nobody knows what goes on behind closed doors. I can tell you that from experience in my own home.
Okay, fine.
And friends that later
I just know that I've got just several people that I knew and ran around with and stuff like that. I feel like that I knew everything about them.
But you didn't.
Well, you don't know if I did or not, because I don't know now if I did or not. I can see, if I'm talking about Keith, me and Keith ran around together, I knew he never was anything. Lance, I knew Lance ran around together. I trust them. Their parents were more like my parents, But and then I knew Jack that I ran around. His father was an alcoholic. I knew what kind of home he lived in. I knew the things that were going around in that household. I didn't agree with it, but I knew about it. Okay, I think we butchered this night up enough as it is. Grandma fed blacks in her restaurant during the segregation in Northwest Alabama.
Listen.
T.S. Jackson, where in Northwest Alabama? Florence area, Muscle Shoals? Where are you talking about? I was born in Florence.
Okay. While you type that to him, how many of you have seen the movie The Help? Because when I watched that movie, The Help, it made me very angry, and it made me wonder how in the world that the white people could speak to T.S. Jackson's from Red Bay.
Red Bay, I know exactly. Well, that's where our RV is made, in Red Bay.
That people could treat the blacks the way they did in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, however long it took. These people, they trusted them to raise their children and cook their foods, but they treated them in such disrespect. I'm surprised there wasn't a lot more dead people from food poisoning. I mean, it blows me away.
Well, my cousin had a black maid, and she took care of us. She fixed us lunch. I'd stay at their house just about every day of the summer.
Maddie, if you have not watched The Help, watch it. It'll never. Just watch it. You'll never look at chocolate pie the same. I can guarantee you that.
Somebody asked, did we ever finish talking about Linda in California? Linda, I think yesterday, did we talk about Linda? Is that Laney in California? Is that the one you're talking about, Laura?
Duty Ron 321 Linda ETC are live.
Okay. Duty Ron's on right now?
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to step on his toes. I mean, he's
a good guy.
He's a good guy. I don't want to step on his toes.
Let's go watch him.
Y'all have a great evening. We will hope to see you Friday, barring no being somewhere we don't have internet. We are next month going to rearrange our hours and days a little bit. We are going to 2 days a week, and we're probably going to be on Tuesday and Thursday. I will let you know. Because of the way we're going to be traveling, I may not always have internet.
Beachfront said, I saw it. My family took in a black baby who was left on the auction block in Athens. They raised him, and he was educated. He went into the Army and took our last name and became a preacher.
Wow, that's awesome.
That is awesome.
That is very awesome. Okay, glad to see everybody tonight.
T.S. Jackson said, we had a black maid. She would tell my mom when we needed a whipping.
Hey, the black maid that we have, she didn't tell our mom. She went in and did it. Tore us up. Of course, we deserved it. We'll see everybody Friday night, and we hope that everybody will have a great time.
Y'all have heard that before. Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise.
And they're talking about creek Indians, not the creek. All right. Well, y'all have a great night. We love y'all.